Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy KAIOKNUCKLES and I'm back again, this time to give you another addition to the Magic of series. This time we're going to be looking at Sanji Vinsmoke. Now, Sanji, well, what can I say about the guy apart from the fact that he has received a lot of, well, the name I should use is Lanji on this. That's not me taking a shot, that's only me using the name that people have been using for him because of recent events on Whole Cake Island. Well, gotta admit, he didn't really get to do much apart from, you know, making a cake. He had a couple of fights here and there, mainly with Daifuku, but yeah, he didn't really get that much, like, fight time, to be honest. And so, yeah, a lot of people have been calling him Lanji. Me, I was not one of those people. I still call him Sanji even to this day. I still like Sanji a lot. I mean, come on, he's one of the monster trio, and especially, like, going back to right at the very start when he first joined the crew after the Baratie arc. You know, he's still one of the top three. I mean, okay, yeah, a lot of people have been discussing whether Jinbei is stronger than Sanji, but, you know, still nothing compared to Luffy and Zoro. But I guess that's just another big, like, discussion maybe for another video or something that someone might do eventually anyway. But to be honest, I think Sanji is a very unique character. Not saying the rest of them ain't, because they all have their own unique style, but I think with Sanji, what sticks out about him is the fact, obviously, he uses black leg style, which is influenced by, you know, Chef Zeph. And to be honest, I think what I like about Sanji's style is the fact that, yeah, he doesn't really use his hands. He only really uses his legs. Like, that's the whole point of it. The only thing he uses his hands for in battle is when he's either doing, like, handstands, and that's only to give him more power behind, you know, the force of his kicks. So he doesn't really like using them in battle at all. I think the only other fight I can think of the top of my head where he actually used his hands, but technically he wasn't, that was when he went against, as I like to call him, the Ramen Kempo dude, which I believe his name is Wanzi or Wanze. It was the guy who was on the train when they were going off to Eni's lobby to rescue Robin, and the guy would literally just shoot ramen out of his nostrils and literally create a big, like, ramen armor around himself. But anyway, yeah, now Sanji had to use knives against him because he had to dice him up. Well, dice up the armor, should I say. So I think that's one of the only fights I can actually remember him using any type of weaponry in his hands to assist him during the fight. But other than that, Sanji mainly focuses on using his legs. And, you know, I like that. I think it's a very, very different, you know, fighting style. And also the fact, you know, especially in real life as well, a lot of ladies seem to love him. And yeah, you could see it. I mean, I think it's because one of those things is the fact that he's very protective of women. Very beautiful women, to be exact. So you look at Nami, you look at Robin, he's always protecting them. If something's going down and, you know, he sees, you know, potential men as a threat towards Nami and Robin, the dude gets fired up. Example, Thriller Bark, Nami about to get married to Absalom, and Sanji's just not happy. It's like he went into his own little Super Saiyan style right there. And then during the actual fight with Absalom, he also mentioned the fact that, you know, you even licked Robin. To be honest, a lot of people cane Sanji for the way he is in Whole Cake Island, but the whole point of that was, you know, we actually learned what Sanji's, you know, backstory was, and the fight that he had to fight his own captain as well, even though, you know, Luffy did manage to get back up in the end when some people thought he was knocked out, is the fact that, you know, he's still trying to protect the crew because, you know, he was scared. He was scared of what Big Mom was going to do, especially his brothers as well, because, you know, Sanji was always like the outcast, the one that wasn't loved. Judge didn't really treat him well. He was always seen as the one that was the failure, because Sanji was more like his mum compared to his brothers. The only one I can really say still has a heart is Reiju. Reiju's the only other one I think a lot of people like. Okay, yeah, there are people that do like the Germa, but when you look at it, the way he was treated as a kid, getting put in a jail cell, getting put like an armor helmet, like a knight's helmet put on his head so, you know, his face wouldn't be shown, and then his brothers coming down just to actually, you know, beat the crap out of him and just leave him. They thought it was fun. Still to this day, well, during Whole Cake Island, is the fact that, you know, they still were beating the crap out of him. I believe it was in the actual Germa lab itself, and, you know, he decided to take on Yonji. I think, yeah, he could probably take them on, but I don't know, it just, you see all those little bits that were going on and he was still getting beaten up. So you got to feel for him at the end of the day that he's still getting picked on by his brothers until obviously the wedding happened and the Germa decided to actually, you know, help out the Straw Hats. So you kind of can see a little bit of difference in the Germa there, you know, protecting, because they, you know, they technically owed him one for, you know, well, the whole crew to be exact, from, you know, not being assassinated by, you know, Big Mom's family. So I think with Sanji, he definitely is one of those people that sticks out, especially the fact that he wants to find the All Blue. That is his dream at the end of the day. That is the one thing he desires, apart from being a pervert. And also, going back to the Absalom fight, is the fact that the only devil fruit he said he actually wanted is the clear fruit, which obviously he's not going to get his hands on at the moment, because obviously, I'm going to say spoiler alert right now, Shiryu of the Rain has it because Absalom is actually dead. Which, yeah, that was a shock. I wasn't expecting Shiryu to actually have that devil fruit, but hey, Oda's given it to him, so guess we'll just have to wait and see how that actually goes on, and see if Sanji actually fights Shiryu of the Rain. But a lot of people seem to think that, you know, Zoro will end up fighting him, obviously due to being both swordsmen. To be honest, like with Sanji, yeah, I do think he'll find the All Blue, and yes, I still do think he will remain a pervert, and he still will be protective of the ladies. I mean, come on, the dude's practically, he only has to meet a beautiful lady once, and he either starts getting a nosebleed, example Puddin, just before the wedding, and almost died on Fishman Island. Literally almost died. Because he couldn't help his face being, you know, embedded into some boobs, in which, you know, he lost a lot of blood during that. So rather than me actually talking about, you know, Sanji getting, you know, embedded in boobs and almost dying and being a pervert, let's actually talk about Sanji in general and going back to how his fighting and his actual battles have gone. So obviously you guys know he's fought the likes of Mr. 2, he's fought Daifuku, even though there wasn't really a win there, it was mainly just, you know, holding off Daifuku so, you know, things would go to plan at the wedding, which they ultimately didn't. Create the cake, so that was pretty much, you know, a big help with Big Mum, even though she did come back. You know, he had this big fight with Jabra, which I still think is probably one of my favourite fights of Sanji, you know, where he used Diable Jambe, and the fact that he probably had one of the most bizarre time skip like training that I've ever seen in my life. Going to Kamabaka Kingdom with Ivankov showed up later, but eventually the guy was in a dress wearing lipstick. Not saying that's a bad thing, so don't think the wrong things when I'm saying it like that, because obviously you guys might think, wait a minute, why is he putting it that kind of way? But basically, yeah, he was dressing up as like one of the ladies, wearing lipstick and dresses. At first he didn't really originally want to do that, but ultimately in the end he did, because obviously he wanted to learn bit more about cooking, and also, you know, he perfected his moves. He ended up learning how to skywalk. Sanji is able to, you know, step on the air, and he can go pretty high in the sky, especially when you look at his fight with Doflamingo, which fortunately he lost, but this is Doflamingo we're talking about here, and the fact of when he fought Luffy and Wadatsumi back on Fishman Island. So yeah, Sanji's got a very range of moves that he likes to use. I think that I do love his, you know, his fiery movesets are like, you know, Diable Jambe, or whenever he's like spinning really fast, which that's what ultimately causes the actual fire itself. I think there obviously are some people that were ultimately disappointed with how Sanji was in Whole Cake Island, but, you know, I generally think that was character development personally. Like, you know, we learned Sanji's backstory, and, you know, the fact that he's willing to, well, he's still willing to go to protect, you know, the people that hate him, bar Reiju, because Reiju is the only one that he actually respects and would probably talk to. But the fact that he protected Ichiji, Niji, Yonji, and Judge, his own father, who I like, but I still think he's an absolute arse for what he did and how he treated Sanji, just the way that he actually was. But the fact that Sanji's still going there, that's just Sanji's character in general. I think he's just overall just a very nice guy. You can't take that away from him. Okay, yeah, he gets angry at people who perv on the girls, and he does what he has to do when it comes to, you know, fighting for the crew. But overall, Sanji's just a very nice character, and I think that's definitely something, you know, that's a pro there, really. It's like, you're protecting all these people bar what they've done, and you can't really help it at the end of the day. Like, you know, every crew member is different, but Sanji's just one of those lovable people. I think that, you know, with Sanji, the appeal with him really is the fact that, apart from being, you know, ladies' man, chef, you know, who can cook a vast amount of foods and doesn't really tend to waste them, and does get angry when food is wasted. You know, he has his fighting style, I think he has his way with words, but, you know, it's Sanji at the end of the day, and you can't really take that away. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on with Sanji in 1-0, because to be honest, I do think that Sanji does need, you know, he needs this fight that's actually going to bring him up. And I know exactly, well, there's a lot of speculation in which a lot of people think he's going to be going up against someone named Queen. Yeah, I can see that happening, and I think that, you know, this could actually potentially help Sanji get some rep back, get those points back up so people stop calling him Lanji, but I think that's always going to be a meme within the One Piece community, which, you know, it can be funny, but then sometimes you got to feel for Sanji, because he's our boy. Sanji's one of the main, you know, Straw Hat members. He's one of the Monster Trio. To be honest, he'll always be one of the Monster Trio. He's been there right near the start, and he's always been one of the people who's been right up there. Okay, yeah, he's probably... I don't think he's as strong as Zoro personally, because, you know, Zoro's an absolute monster, and then you've got Luffy, and I don't think Zoro's far off Luffy, to be honest. But then, saying that, I don't really think Sanji's that far off. I think it's hard to try and work out, because we've seen a lot more of Zoro and Luffy, but I don't know, I still think Sanji's very much up there in terms of power, in terms of, you know, being one of the Monster Trio. Okay, yeah, he's probably the weakest of the Monster Trio, but at the end of the day, you know, Sanji's still very important to the crew, even if it isn't, like I said, fighting. I think overall, looking at the pros of Sanji and the magic of him is the fact that, yeah, he's got his dream of wanting to find the All Blue. Yes, he's had a vast amount of fights that, you know, are worth remembering, but I think overall, Sanji definitely has his own little magic for himself, definitely being one of the most unique members of the crew. So I generally can't wait to go further on. Sanji, you need to get your rep up. Oda, give us that Sanji rep. Overall, guys, I think that wraps up the magic of Sanji. Next, I think I will be focusing on one of the ladies. Yes, my personal favourite, my waifu Nami. So I'm pretty much looking forward to that one very much. So guys, with that being said, if you liked what I had to say and you enjoyed the magic of Sanji Vinsmoke, please give me a big fat thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that. Let me know down in the comments below whether you guys like Sanji, or if you don't. I know if you won't probably like Sanji, or maybe you do, but you'll be memeing it because you'll just be calling them Lanji. But anyways, yeah. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I am bringing you guys the magic of series within One Piece series. And I obviously have been going off into other little series, but it's mainly focused on One Piece. And I've also got a lot of big videos coming up. The next one is Madara Uchiha. Yeah, you guys know that now. So make sure you do definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my videos. And you can also go back and check out my previous magical videos, where I currently have Naruto, Luffy, and Zoro. So you guys basically want to check that one out. And I will see you guys for the next video. Until then, see ya.